Hartford Board of Education. Sue London, who's our chair, could not be here tonight. She was out of state and asked me to fill in for her. I just want to start by thanking the various, especially the Board of Finance and the various boards involved with this process. It's been very difficult, as you will hear out, especially with regard to our budget. We've had to make some very deep cuts that are going to, I feel, impact what we've been doing so far in this town with regard to our K-6 budget. To keep the status quo, we started with what essentially would have been a 9.33% increase. That would have translated somewhere in the neighborhood of about $686,000. That's just to maintain what we have currently. We, as a board, did not feel that that was appropriate. We then went through the process of trying to negotiate and contact the various bargaining units involved to see perhaps if we could get some sort of wage concession or any other sort of concession with regard to health care. Unfortunately, all those efforts did not reap any benefits, and we had to move forward with many cuts in order to come up with the budget that we have now. It is a 3% budget, and it translates the dollar figures to about $220,000. With that, there are many cuts to personnel. Total in terms of benefits between salary as well as the health insurances that go along with it, it's over $500,000 of cuts. That equates to 3.5 classroom teachers and half special education teachers. We've cut a few psychologists 4 days a week instead of 5. We've eliminated 2 instructional assistants. And, okay, Dr. Rowley will round that discussion out. It was a tough budget year. Next year is not going to be any easier, but I think we did the best we can. We could, under the circumstances, come up with a budget that we hope will be acceptable for the town. With that, Dr. Rowley.
Before I dive into the document and summarize a few of the high points, I wanted to respond to a few questions that I've heard at recent Board of Finance meetings. One of them is, how have we attempted to save and or generate income for the town of New Hartford? We rent 2 classrooms at Antonini School for the blind, to the School for the Blind, and generate nearly $43,000 for the town of New Hartford. It doesn't go to the school district, it goes to the town as income. We rent 1 classroom at New Hartford Elementary School to shared services, generating over $15,000 per year. In addition to that, we receive a $10% price break on our students with special needs who are serviced in that program, which save us thousands of dollars. Despite the steady enrollment, we have consolidated, the enrollment really hasn't changed in the last 4 or 5 years. And despite the steady enrollment, we have consolidated bus stops and reduced the number of buses from 13 to 12. We have purchased oil as part of a consortium that purchases over millions of gallons of oil and have obtained a price break and very competitive rates. We have put our electricity generating contract up to bid twice, and as a result, that line you'll see has no increase in the past 3 years, and we're actually spending more than, saving more than 2 cents per kilowatt hour because of that. We continue to receive between $45,000 and $55,000 in REAP federal money. That's due to the size of our school district. The superintendents, all the superintendents in the Region 7 districts, the 5 of us, meet bi-weekly now, or bi-monthly, excuse me, to look at how we can save money benefiting from economy of scale. When it works for us, we work collectively. When it doesn't work for New Hartford, we are able to go on our own. And there are situations where we have been able to go both ways. We have been approved for $75,000 in ARRA money, which will offset the cost of the new boilers that we are asking for at Antonini School. We have reduced administration at New Hartford. This year, our special education director works 3 days per week, Last year, she worked 5 days per week. We have consolidated positions. We had 5 secretaries last year. We have 4 secretaries this year. We have consolidated office space. We have now the special education department is in the central office, which also has resulted in savings for materials, for rental of copy machines, etc. We no longer outsource the required year-end reporting documents that are required by the state, and that saves $3,000. We no longer outsource payroll. We handle payroll in the central office with no new employees. We handle all personnel services from the central office here. We have completed 2 K-6 curriculum documents that are shared among all Region 7 districts, the second of which was approved today in language arts. Curriculum writing is now done regionally, not locally. We have received all federal E-rate money entitled to us in the last 2 years. That's money that offsets the cost for internet and phone services. We have fully funded the non-certified employee pension fund in each of the last 5 years. That wasn't done previously. We have obtained hundreds of thousands of dollars in reimbursement grants and closed out all building projects that were open. And so we have maximized the rebates that we're entitled, that every town in Connecticut is entitled to. And New Hartford had 5 or 6 projects that were open. The question has come to me about our cost per pupil. New Hartford 2 years ago, and this is the latest data I have on the internet, when I do a comparison. The cost per pupil is, for New Hartford students is $11,888. When you compare that with all the other elementary districts, those that are just elementary districts, we're $699 less than the average elementary district in the state of Connecticut. We're $336 less per pupil than all communities that are similar in financial makeup, our DERB, they call it. And we're $663 less per pupil than the state average. Now, when you compare that we are one of the top 5 performing districts in the state of Connecticut, our schools are achieving along the same lines as those districts on the Gold Coast. The average spending per pupil for those Gold Coast communities is $14,300. So we're spending about $3,000 less per pupil than those Gold Coast communities, and we are achieving the same results that those communities are